What if the most powerful thing you could say was nothing at all? What if silence, cold, calculated silence, was the trigger that flipped her entire perception of you? You were vulnerable. You opened your chest and handed her the key. You gave her attention, love, presence. You tried to fix it. You tried to reason, to plead, to be understood. Maybe you sent one last message hoping she'd see the real you. Maybe you poured your heart out thinking honesty would win her back. Nope. She walked anyway. Not with tears, not with regret. She walked like you never mattered. But here's the twist. She didn't leave because you lacked value. She left because she thought she knew you. She thought you were predictable, safe, available. She thought you'd always be the man on standby. But when a woman believes she's figured you out, she stops feeling drawn to you. That's human psychology, and deep down you already know it. So what happens when that comfort is replaced with confusion? When the version of you she thought she understood goes silent, not out of spite, but strength. She starts to wonder, then she starts to worry, and eventually she starts to regret. This is not a video about revenge. This is not some emotional chess game. This is about you taking your power back. Because the truth is, most men don't know how to handle heartbreak. They reach out, they overshare, they spiral. But the Stoic doesn't do that. The Stoic doesn't chase closure. He doesn't need her validation. He lets the silence speak, and in doing so, he becomes a force she never saw coming. You're about to step into that version of yourself, the quiet, grounded, emotionally unshakable man who doesn't beg for attention, because he's too busy mastering his own presence. This video is your guide, 10 steps, 10 shifts, all rooted in Stoic philosophy and dark psychology, tools that will help you flip the dynamic without ever lifting a finger. You're not going to say a word, you're not going to break your frame, but by the end of this, she'll feel your absence like gravity. If you're tired of being the one who cares more, if you're ready to become untouchable, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence is louder than words. Now let's begin. Number 1. Silence is power. The moment you go quiet, the game changes. At first, she feels a sense of relief, like the drama is over, like she won. She expects the usual, a few days of silence followed by a late-night message, a "hey, just checking in," or a long paragraph pouring your heart out. But when that message never comes, when the phone stays silent, when your name vanishes from her notifications, that's when the shift begins. Confusion replaces confidence. Did he really just walk away? Is he already over it? Was I not worth fighting for? These thoughts don't hit all at once. They build quietly, in the same silence she thought she wanted. This is where Stoicism shines. You're not ignoring her out of bitterness. You're choosing detachment. You're not giving her the satisfaction of knowing where you stand. You're reclaiming your peace by controlling the one thing she used to manipulate, your emotional response. In Stoic philosophy, power lies not in reaction but in restraint. You're not ghosting her. You're ascending. You've taken your energy, your attention, your presence, and removed it from her world. And that, more than any speech or grand gesture, makes her feel your value. Here's the truth. People don't miss you because you yell louder. They miss you when your silence echoes in the space where your attention used to be. That silence? That's your weapon. And when used with purpose, it's unforgettable. If you're done making decisions from a place of weakness, if you're ready to take back control, comment below. I master my emotions. They do not master me. Number 2. Control the narrative. When she left, she thought she was in control. She thought she had the final say, that you'd be stuck replaying the story while she moved on. But here's what she didn't expect. Silence that doesn't seek closure. You didn't fight her decision. You didn't beg her to stay. You didn't flood her phone trying to explain your side. And that, right there, is what flips the entire narrative. Now she doesn't know what story to believe. Was he really hurt? Did he care at all? Did I matter? The more she questions, the more your silence starts to look like strength. The truth is, people create their own version of you when you're gone, and when you refuse to defend yourself, when you don't clarify or chase, she's forced to fill in the blanks. That uncertainty, that's psychological pressure. Stoicism teaches us that perception is everything. But here's the twist. By refusing to explain yourself, you control how you're perceived. You become the man she can't figure out. And in the absence of clarity, her mind starts looping. The narrative she thought she controlled begins slipping through her fingers. She'll try to provoke you. She might post something. She might test you just to see if you'll crack. But you won't, because you've already reclaimed the one thing she thought was hers, your story. You've gone from the emotional wreck to the man who vanished without a trace, leaving behind a silence louder than any goodbye. If you're done letting her write your story for you, if you're ready to become the man she can't stop thinking about, comment below. I own my silence, and I own my story. Number 3, absence creates presence. Most guys think that to stay on her mind, they need to be around, liking her posts, sending friendly texts, staying close, just in case. Nope, that's not presence. That's desperation dressed as loyalty. Real presence, the kind that haunts her thoughts, comes from absence. When you're gone, truly gone, she starts to feel the space you used to fill. And the mind doesn't like empty spaces. It obsesses over them. You see, when you remove yourself completely, something strange happens. She starts noticing things she didn't care about before. That song you showed her, that place you used to eat, that stupid inside joke that suddenly doesn't feel funny anymore. Your absence becomes a mirror, and in it, she sees everything she lost. Not just the man, but the safety, the attention, the depth you brought. You didn't just walk away. You pulled the entire emotional framework she leaned on. This is classic scarcity psychology. What's always available is always taken for granted. But what's rare, what disappears without warning, that sticks. That's what flips the attraction switch. You no longer exist in her physical world, so now you exist in her mental one. And that's where the real game is played. She thought she needed space, so give it to her, more than she can handle. Create a vacuum so powerful that her thoughts get sucked into it. Be the absence that lingers. Be the silence she starts resenting. That's how you become unforgettable. If you're done begging for attention, if you're ready to become the man she can't stop thinking about, comment below. My absence is unforgettable. Number 4, let her sit in the void. Most men feel the urge to fix the silence. They get uncomfortable. They think, if I don't say something, she'll forget me. Nope. That's weakness talking. That's fear talking. Here's the truth. When you leave her in the void, in the silence she created, she has no choice but to feel the consequences of her decision. She broke it off. She walked away. So now she gets to sit in the emptiness of that choice. And you? You don't save her from it. This is where most guys lose their power. They rush in to relieve the tension. They throw her emotional lifelines hoping for crumbs of connection. But when you do that, you rob her of the most powerful emotion you could ever give her, uncertainty. Stoic men don't just walk away. They stay gone. They don't try to make her feel better about losing them. They let her feel it. That's where regret is born. That's where obsession starts. You're not being heartless. You're being disciplined. You're not punishing her. You're refusing to rescue someone who left you drowning. That silence you're holding, it's not just a power move. It's a mirror. And eventually, she'll have to look into it. She'll start to feel the weight of what she gave up. And by the time she starts to reach out, you'll already be miles ahead. Calmer, colder, stronger. If you're done trying to save people who let go of you first, if you're ready to let the silence do the talking, comment below. I do not chase, I replace. Number 5, stop proving your worth. One of the biggest traps men fall into after a breakup is the need to prove they were good enough. They hit the gym out of spite. They post stories to look unbothered. They send messages hoping to Remind her of what she lost. But here's the hard truth. If you're still trying to prove your worth to someone who walked away, you haven't realized it yet. You were already enough. She just couldn't see it. And now, it's not your job to convince her. The Stoic man knows his value. He doesn't perform for approval. He doesn't broadcast his progress. He moves in silence, not to impress her, but because he's building a life that doesn't revolve around her validation. That shift from seeking validation to embodying value is where everything changes. When she no longer sees you trying to get her attention, her curiosity turns into anxiety. Why isn't he trying anymore? Did he forget me? That's the beginning of her downfall. Not because you wanted revenge, but because you stopped trying to earn something that should have never needed earning in the first place. Dark psychology calls this reverse reinforcement. When you remove the attention she was addicted to, it forces her to chase it again. But now, it's no longer on your terms. You've stopped auditioning for a role in her life. You've walked off the stage, and now the spotlight's on her. If you're done trying to prove your worth to someone blind to it, if you're ready to embody silent power, comment below. I need no validation. I am the standard. Number 6. Rebuild in the shadows. The most dangerous man is the one who disappears and evolves, not the one who posts about his grind, not the one flexing his healing journey online. The man who says nothing but changes everything, that's the one she can't stop thinking about. You want to make her miss you. Don't try to be seen, be felt. Let her wonder where you are, what you're doing, who you're becoming. This is where you rebuild, in silence, in solitude, in the shadows. You take all that pain, all that rejection, and you forge it into something lethal. Discipline, clarity, peace. And not the fake peace that comes from distractions, but the kind that grows from confronting your own darkness and refusing to stay broken. Stoicism isn't about pretending nothing hurts. It's about owning the pain, then using it as fuel. While she's out looking for comfort, you're in the trenches building a version of yourself that no longer needs her. And here's the twist. She'll feel it. She won't know what changed, but she'll sense it. That energy she once drained, it's no longer available. That access she abused, it's gone. And now she's locked out of a kingdom she used to rule. That's how you shift the power without saying a word. If you're done announcing your growth and ready to let your absence speak for itself, comment below. I rebuild in silence. My comeback makes the noise. Number 7. Emotionally unavailable. On purpose. She used to have full access to your emotions. She could get a reaction with a text, a post, a memory. She knew how to trigger you, how to pull you in. But now, she gets nothing. No response, no emotion, no crack in the armor. You've become emotionally unavailable, but not out of trauma, out of choice. You've turned off the faucet she used to drink from, and now she's thirsty for attention she can't reach. This isn't about playing cold. It's about mastering control. You don't deny your emotions. You own them. You feel everything. You just don't show everything. Stoicism teaches that your emotions are yours, not hers to manipulate. The moment you stop reacting to her, the game ends. The leash is cut. She can throw bait all day, but you don't bite. You've become unreadable. And that mystery, that drives her insane. Dark psychology works in silence. When she can't decode you, she starts creating stories in her head. She wonders if you're with someone else, if you're over her, if she ever meant anything at all. And that spiral, that's exactly what happens when you remove emotional availability from someone who once had it on demand. You're not withholding out of pain, you're protecting peace. You've learned that not everyone deserves access to your emotions, especially not the ones who threw them away. If you're done letting her play with your heart like a switch, if you're ready to guard your peace with silence, comment below. I give my emotions to no one who hasn't earned them. Number 8. Never break your frame. She will test you. Bet on it. Maybe she'll like an old picture. Maybe she'll message something vague like, "Hope you're doing okay." Maybe she'll show up where she knows you'll be. That's not coincidence. That's bait. And here's where most men fail. They break frame. They react. They take the bait. They respond, thinking it means she cares. Nope. She's not reaching out because she misses you. She's reaching out to see if she still controls you. Your frame is everything. It's your posture, your energy, your boundaries. It's the calm in your voice, the look in your eyes that says, I don't chase, I don't flinch, I don't break. A stoic man holds the line. No matter how tempting the moment, no matter how familiar the pull, he doesn't bend to emotion. He watches, he observes, he remains still. Why? Because control isn't about dominating her, it's about never letting her dominate you. Every time you stay silent when it's easier to react, you strengthen your frame. Every time you ignore bait disguised as care, you gain ground. And the more you stay in your power, the more she starts to question hers. She thought you were fragile. She thought she knew your weakness. But the man you are now, untouchable. This isn't about ego, it's about discipline. You don't respond to tests. You don't chase closure. You hold the frame and let her collapse under her own confusion. If you're done breaking character for temporary attention, if you're ready to become unshakable, comment below. My frame is iron. Nothing shakes me. Number 9. Let her wonder, not know. Clarity kills attraction. The more she knows, the less she feels. That's why every time you explain yourself, update her on your life, or post to make her notice, you lose leverage. Curiosity is what creates obsession. If she knows what you're doing, who you're with, how you're feeling, there's no mystery left. She gets to relax. She gets to move on. But if you say nothing, if you vanish without drama or updates, now her mind does the work. Let her wonder. Let her sit in silence and try to decode what's going on behind your calm. Is he dating someone else? Did he stop caring? Is he even hurting? You don't give her the answer. You let her live in the question. That uncertainty breeds tension, and tension breeds attraction. It's not manipulation, it's nature. The human brain craves resolution, and when it can't find it, it loops. That's what keeps you in her head long after you've left her life. The Stoic doesn't need to announce every move. He doesn't need people to know. He moves quietly, unpredictably, and without explanation. That's why people remember him, because he's not available for their assumptions. You want her to miss you? Then stop giving her the data to feel secure. Let her imagination do the chasing. If you're done giving her closure at the cost of your power, if you're ready to become the mystery she can't solve, comment below. I let them wonder. I owe no explanations. Number 10. When you no longer want her. Here's the final shift, and it's the one she never sees coming. It's not when you ignore her. It's not when you go silent. It's not even when you level up. It's when you genuinely, fully and quietly no longer want her. Not out of anger, not because you're playing a game, but because you've outgrown the version of yourself that needed her in the first place. At first, the silence hurts her ego, but this shakes her soul. She starts to feel it, not just the absence, but the disinterest. You're not watching her stories anymore. You're not reacting to her tests. You're not in the shadows hoping for a sign. You're just gone, moved on, detached. She thought your silence was a tactic. Now she realizes it's who you've become. This is the final stage of Stoic power. Indifference. Not coldness, not bitterness, just freedom. When she senses that she no longer lives in your mind, that you no longer assign her any emotional weight, that's when the regret kicks in. Because now, even if she comes back, you're not waiting, you're not interested. The tables haven't turned, you've burned them. And in the ashes, you built something stronger, peace. You didn't just make her miss you, you became the man she'll never get back. And that's the real win. If you're done needing her to come back, if you're ready to become the version of yourself who no longer wants what once broke him, comment below. I don't want her back. I want my peace. You wanted the formula to make her miss you without saying a word. You just got it. 10 moves, 10 shifts, all grounded in silence, discipline, and power. But here's what most won't tell you. This isn't about getting her back. This is about getting you back. Because once you become the man who no longer needs to be heard, no longer needs to be chosen, no longer waits for someone who walked away, you become the man everyone notices, but no one can control. The silence wasn't to hurt her, it was to heal you. The absence wasn't revenge, it was rebirth. And now, you're not chasing, you're not proving, you're not explaining, you're just being calm, collected, untouchable. She might come back, she might not. But that's not your concern anymore. You're not sitting in that old chapter hoping it changes. You're writing a new story, one where you're not the one getting left. You're the one rising. If this video hit different, if you felt that shift, show it. Like, subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss a tactic that keeps you grounded and in control. And drop a final comment below. I choose power over pain, peace over people. Stay silent, stay solid, stay stoic. This is Stoic Blessing. I'll see you in the next one.